You probably think you're just unlucky, that the universe has it out for you, that you're cursed to fall for the wrong people, take the wrong jobs, say the wrong things, and end up right where you promised yourself you'd never be again. But what if I told you none of this is random? You don't just repeat mistakes, you rehearse them over and over and over again, like a broken record with a favorite track. Except that track is self-sabotage. And the reason? It's psychological, deeply creepy, and worse, it's working exactly the way your brain wants it to. Let's begin. There's a name for this phenomenon: repetition compulsion. Coined by Sigmund Freud, this idea suggests you unconsciously recreate the very experiences that wounded you, not to suffer, but to win. Your brain's twisted logic? If I can relive the trauma and make it end differently, maybe I can finally be free. Spoiler alert, it never ends differently. Because your subconscious doesn't want freedom, it wants familiarity. And familiarity is dangerous because it feels like home, even when home was a war zone. Trauma embeds itself in your body's muscle memory, in your gut reactions, in your emotional reflexes. You don't even realize you're drawn to dysfunction until it's too late. The unconscious mind has no sense of time. To it, the past is always present. This means when something reminds you of a past hurt, your system reacts as if the original event is happening again. So you chase the same kind of love because your inner child believes this time they'll stay. You take the same kind of job because your inner critic believes this time you'll prove your worth. You repeat the mistake because your mind is begging for closure. But it only finds reruns, and the reruns keep playing because no one told your nervous system that the show's been canceled. Let's go deeper. You are haunted, but not by ghosts, by blueprints, by emotional maps drawn in your childhood, with coping mechanisms that didn't work, but felt better than nothing. You watched your parents argue and thought that was love. You saw silence treated as strength and thought feelings were a liability. You weren't taught how to be whole. You were taught how to survive. And survival doesn't require clarity, it just requires repetition. So now your survival instincts make you fail, elegantly, efficiently, and repeatedly. You don't check if the door is open, you just keep running into the same one that always slams shut. These patterns get stored as blueprints for how life is supposed to be. And you follow the blueprint, even if it's leading you into burning buildings. You're not broken, you're trained. Now let's talk neuroscience, because your brain is not a fan of unpredictability. It would rather repeat a failure it knows than risk a success it doesn't. The same regions that light up during a familiar mistake also light up with comfort. That's right, comfort. You fail and feel bad and your brain goes, yes, the good old days. Because it knows this pain. It's mapped, predictable, safe. Your frontal cortex wants growth. Your limbic system wants Groundhog Day with emotional damage. Guess which one wins? Spoiler! It's always the one that screams louder. And the limbic system? It floods your body with cortisol and convinces you that comfort equals safety, even if comfort means repeating chaos. This is why logic often loses to habit. You can know something is bad for you and still crave it, because your brain doesn't want what's best. It wants what's familiar. Let's get even creepier. Mirror neurons. You repeat what you saw growing up, not because it worked, but because it was modeled. You're not you. You're a curated playlist of generational dysfunctions and recycled pain. You keep picking partners who hurt you, your brain thinks that's love, because love hurt back then. You keep missing deadlines? You grew up in chaos and don't trust calm. You keep blowing up opportunities? You learned to feel unworthy before you learned how to walk. These aren't accidents, they're echoes. And they'll keep echoing until you ask, who's really choosing? The adult you with dreams, or the inner child with wounds? You think you're bad at commitment? You're excellent at it. You've committed your entire life to reliving your worst moments. You don't have trust issues. You trust pain more than healing. You don't fear change. You fear peace because peace feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar means danger. To your nervous system, peace is suspicious. It waits for the catch. So your brain, in its flawed brilliance, will sabotage anything that feels too good, too calm, too easy. If a healthy relationship enters the chat, your nervous system says, this feels fake. Let's go back to the toxic ex with the emotional availability of a toaster. Because better the devil you know than the angel that feels foreign. And that is the tragedy, that safety can feel threatening, and danger can feel like home. Self-sabotage isn't weakness, it's protection. You're not ruining things because you're stupid. You're protecting the story your brain wrote long ago. I don't deserve good things. So every time good things approach, you repeat a mistake to stay consistent with that story. Because the story, however tragic, gives you identity. And without identity, who are you? To let go of sabotage is to let go of the version of you who survived. It feels like betrayal of your past, of your pain, of your truth. And that's the cost of growth, shedding the skin that once protected you, even if it's the only skin you've ever known. Let's get darker. You punish yourself, not with whips or chains, but with choices. You choose the wrong path, not by accident, but by design. There's a part of you that believes you deserve to lose, a quiet whisper that says, if I keep failing, maybe I'll finally pay off the debt of simply existing. This isn't drama, this is real psychology. People destroy their own lives because it feels righteous. They believe the only way to be worthy is to bleed for it. So, they sabotage joy, not because they hate it, but because they feel like they've stolen it. But suffering is not currency. It doesn't buy love, it just drains you. But here's the twist. Awareness ruins the cycle. Your brain can't unknow what you now see. When you witness your own sabotage with open eyes, the spell breaks. The loop glitches. You catch yourself before the fall. The next time you feel drawn to repeat the same mistake, pause. Ask, who wants this? The real me or the programmed me? Because if your mistake is familiar, it's probably not for your future. It's a relic, and relics don't rule you, unless you let them. So the next time you're about to call that person you swore off, the next time you're about to say yes to something that drains you, the next time you feel the magnetic pull of a bad decision dressed as comfort, pause, look behind the curtain, and ask yourself, is this healing or is this rehearsal? Because your life isn't a stage. You don't owe the past an encore. You owe the future an exit. And this is your cue. This is your moment to rewrite the script, break the fourth wall, and walk off set. No more reruns, only premieres. If this hit a nerve, it was supposed to. If it made you uncomfortable, good. That's where change lives. And if you're still here, you're already breaking the cycle. So share this with someone still spinning. They don't need advice, they need to hear the truth. And sometimes the truth wears a creepy mask, tells dark jokes, and whispers from inside your head. Welcome to MetaSilent. Let's get louder.